8 days left to go. You can feel it in your fingers. You can feel it in your toes. The game is emerging. It's coming. I mean, it literally is emerging. It is literally, there are rumours that the ending of FF15 is now out there on the internet. Be very careful, people, but it doesn't matter. Here on FF Peasants, we are in media blackout. We are heads down, thumbs up, thumbs up our asses, completely staying away from all the spoilers. So let's continue with our countdown from day number 8. Final Fantasy VIII, an ability to extract magic that is surprisingly like the draw system. Then we've got certain summons. We've of course had Cerberus in Kingsglaive, that is an FF8 summon. There's even the cheeky references to Doomtrain being in this game. There's about 7 or 8. Let's not forget the key one, the Solomon ring, which is the ring of the Elusii. This was the same ring from FF8, and of course that is one of the materials that summons Doomtrain. 8% is the number of people who were neutral about FF15 after playing it. So at the German Game Convention, Tabata had a survey handed out. 8% were neutral, only 2% disliked, and a whopping 90% said they enjoyed it. That's a pretty dank result. It's the number of photos that IGN shared with us on the character models, and it wasn't so much the pictures themselves, but what art director Yusuke Nora had talked about them and the descriptions he put with them for how much further they had taken the character models. So with Noctis, he said that he had enhanced Noctis' skin texture to make it several levels more realistic at this point. It didn't just stop at subtle blotches and birthmarks. It involved the use of screen space technology to actually depict the texture of the skin and the actual light penetration in order to make Noctis look like a real flesh and blood human being. He even spoke about the hair. He also did with Luna. He said he wanted to make it look like a hairstyle that would need the help of a handmaiden to do it, to reflect her noble birth. This hair is beautiful. I mean, the detail is so nice. Luna's always has been, but this picture was particularly good, even though I don't actually really quite like the face on this one. But that wasn't really the focus from Naora at that point. Gladiolus was altered to look more intellectual rather than just a simple muscle man. During the fine tuning, we adjusted the facial structure by narrowing his eyes, giving him a sultry gaze off into the distance. So they made Gladiolus look a bit more clever. What did they do with Ignis? Ignis had comparatively few alterations made to him despite improvements to technology. In order to emphasise how he had protected Noctis at a young age, we did alter his physique to make him look more toned and conditioned, enhancing his musculature around the neck. And you can even just see it around the shoulders. They have broadened him out. So yeah, they did. Well, that's good. So they made Gladiolus more clever and they made Ignis more muscly. Interesting. I'm only just reading this now, by the way, guys. So what did Naora do for Regis? To realistically convey the strain that the magical power had of the Lusa had taken on him, we gave King Regis an older appearance. Ardyn, there's no real description. Neither is there for Idolus. But yeah, really cool, guys. I did know that they did that with Ignis, and looking at him, he actually does look a bit buffer. 8% is the size that Jules Shockers had estimated that the size of the Dusky demo was in comparison to the Skyrim map. So that's how they worked it. We got a glimpse of the map size of the demo, even though that wasn't the full map size, and they've actually said this. They said the full game is likely to be even bigger. But even back then, guys, they had worked out that it covers 8% of the land in the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim game. Their calculations was that the map size of the demo was around about 1.16 square miles, whereas the map size for Elder Scrolls was around 37 square kilometers. And it was based on that Jewel Shockers had created this map here. 8 minutes was the size of the first demo that, for me personally, I realised this is a game. Versus 13 is back. It is now Final Fantasy 15 and it's going to be a real thing. It was this demo here where we saw the characters in close up, we saw detail, we saw gameplay, we saw warp striking, we saw behemoths, we saw magic, we saw boss battles, we saw everything. This was the first time it wasn't just a story cutscene, a trailer, a piece of gameplay separate. It was the first time it was the whole thing combined, the whole shaboodle, the whole shebang, and it was the first time for me that I was super duper hype. It's the number of characters on this kingsglaive poster, and of course one of them very faintly in the background is Noctis. And while we're on that, let's just talk about Noctis and all the references he had in kingsglaive. One of the big ones I want to discuss is this poster here. A lot of people have said to me, Peasant, did you know that Noctis is using Nyx's dagger? Well, I mean, it's not quite true. If we look here, the curvature is different of the two daggers. You see Noctis curves in, while as Nyx's curves out. But in our final countdown, I want to take this opportunity to just remind people that Tabata did say Nyx will be returning in some form, and that we would, quote, feel his presence. Now, my theories have been that he could be Ifrit, based on the Ifrit horn, based on all the links with the Citadel, and Nyx playing with the fire, and that this being confirmed as Ifrit sat on the throne, and Nyx is born of chaos, and that's the Chaos Throne, all of that. But even if it isn't, and I'll say it would be kind of surprising considering the Lucii and the Lucii and the Arcanes, they've been confirmed as being connected. Remember, it was said that they've been connected for hundreds of years. Even if it isn't that, it could still be this Koal. Just remind ourselves of this again, this really strange reason that they put a Koal behind Nyx. I mean, this would even kind of make sense. Let's say a Koal appears in the game and it does guide Noctis and co. I suppose you would feel Nyx's presence through this Koal. I mean, that's possible. And finally, it's the age that Noctis was in the Platinum demo, and in fact the age where Noctis went through most of his hardships. He was 8 years old when he got injured by the Marilith, when he met Lunafreya, when he left Lunafreya, when he was in his kind of coma and he had the carbuncle jewel there for healing. It's where he went through a lot of the hardships in his life, and it is even possible that that is the age where he picked up his ability. Remember, it was said that to see the light of waning souls, he had to go through a near-death experience. Now, we don't know if that ability is still in the game. I have a very sneaking suspicious it is, but if that is true, if it is in the game, this is the age where Noctis picked up the abilities. Now, Lunafreya wasn't 8 years old, she is 4 years older, so while Noctis was 8, Lunafreya was 12. So that's day number 8, my lowly working class turnip farmers. Thanks for joining in. Look out for the other ones. Go back, watch the other countdown days. Oh, I'm so hyped for this game. I get pins and needles. I get itchy. I get itchy with anticipation. And just remember, guys, be safer with all the spoilers out there. I genuinely might have to, because if you guys had any idea how many spoilers I'm getting, you realise I might have to do a media blackout. I'm sorry, guys, I just can't let this game be spoiled for myself. I have to look after my selfie. But in all seriousness, all jokes, all cheesy puns aside, being dead serious now, for all those people who are posting spoilers, who thinks it's cool to post the end of the game, what's happening, come on my channel, tell me whether I'm right or wrong about a theory. You can all go to Zell. And on that one, I'm out. Coop out!